Suddenly this wind came, just very, very strong wind started blowing. I don't know, we just had a bad feeling about it. Although wild camping is permitted in Germany, it is forbidden in certain areas.
But suddenly we hit this traffic. It was what?
Almost 3 hours.
3 hour delay.
We had a big thunderstorm, and I was fearing for my life.
We were in the back and the camper was just blowing side to side, torrential rain.
But we were very fortunate that we made it to Slovakia in one piece.
Through the storm.
I booked a castle hotel called the Grand Viglas. Since we'd had to pretty much cancel the Slovakia part of our itinerary, we could at least still go to the castle and just enjoy our night there. And then the following day we would start our return journey back through Europe. But our troubles, unfortunately, were not over.
We left to go to the castle the next day.
Monday morning.
Monday morning. We were about an hour into the journey, and then you get this beep, beep, beep on the camper, and a red oil light flashing.
Yeah, it was the oil pressure warning lamp had to come on. Which at first we weren't surprised, because we had done 2,800 kilometers, and so we thought it probably just needs to be topped up with oil.
So I pulled over and did the checks, and I was like, yeah, just put the oil in.
Thankfully we were near a service station.
Put 2 litres of oil in.
And thought, okay, we can continue with our journey.
Set off, and it was okay. And then, nope, it went off again.
Yeah, we were only a few more kilometers down the road, and the red oil warning light came back on. So we pulled over in what was just a bus stop and a tiny shop. Thankfully, we had European breakdown cover in place. So we phoned the AA. Of course, when we went through to the British number, they then had to put us on hold to transfer us to the European.
Which took forever.
We were on hold for a very long time.
Eventually got through, and then they was going to be sending me a message to send my live location. But, and I'm going to say, O2, who I'm with, they've been horrendous this trip. I've been struggling with service. They had put a bar on my receiving phone calls and text messages. So I've been missing phone calls and text messages, so therefore couldn't receive a message.
The woman suggested to hang up and maybe the message would come through, and then phone back, or if we didn't phone back, she would phone us back within a few minutes, which of course she was unable to do because
I couldn't receive calls.
His calls were being barred.
Silly
so we felt a bit stuck. We weren't really sure what to do, and we were in this tiny hamlet. So we thought, well, why don't we just try to press on, at least make it to the hotel. We'll stick to the town roads. We won't go on the motorway.
Keep the speed low.
Keep the speed low. Keep the engine temperature down.
Because I checked oil again and the level was fine.
So we did continue on the journey, and no more red light. We made it to the hotel, and we thought, okay, maybe it was just the oil level, and it's just not picked up for some reason.
Yeah, it's recent.
Yeah, we checked into our room at the hotel. Yeah, it was a really authentic experience being in the castle hotel. The corridors were just lined with dead animals.
Yeah, lots of heads.
Lots of antlers and other types of animals. Our room was on the ground floor. It was in kind of an arched cellar, maybe a wine cellar or something.
Big space.
Yeah, a little bit cavernous. The bathroom was really nice, and also they had a spa, so we went down and used the jacuzzi and the sauna. We had a very nice dinner. Went for a full 3-course dinner with prosecco to treat ourselves. we sat in the nice little lounge area after dinner and played a game of chess.
I won.
Yeah. So the next morning we had breakfast in the hotel, and our friend Phil had booked us into a mechanic, which was a recommended one in the nearby town.
So we drove there.
Just to check the van over, make sure everything was looking okay, and just to give us a bit of reassurance that we could continue on the journey and that everything would be okay. He didn't speak any English, but he was trying to talk to us through using Google Translate, and he asked, was there any problem still? We said no, that the red light has gone off. There doesn't seem to be any noises. There's no problem with the engine. It's not heating up. He came out. He ran diagnostics. No issues with the engine. He put it up on a ramp. He looked underneath. He said it's not eating oil. Doesn't seem to be anything leaking. He said this is a good engine.
Torque, 100%, 100% good. Okay?
Go on your way and be contented. We paid €30, but it seemed like worth it to just be reassured that we could continue on our journey. And we thought, great, we're going to be able to make it back across Europe, back to the UK in Jonesy the van. Sadly, about 10 minutes later,
The red light.
the
came
red
back on.
light of death came back on.
Beep, beep, beep. Light went on. But it was weird. It went on and then it beeped again and went off. But we still pulled over and because it shouldn't be happening at all.
Yeah.
So we pulled up outside McDonald's.
And especially because it's not our camper van, it's our friend's camper van, and even if it had just been, a sensor issue, we didn't want to push the engine or cause a problem that was then going to ruin our friend's camper. So it just made sense. So we contacted our friend. The AA were going to come out and tow the van away to the nearest garage, and our friend Phil said he would go with the van to the garage, and his dad, who had driven him out, drove us back to his house in Bratislava. So yeah, at this point my emotional state was not great. I was very upset. Just there'd been so many changes of plan and just
Unforeseen circumstances in every way.
yeah. I mean, there's so much you can cope with, and I'm trying to be more like go with the flow, be spontaneous. But there just been so much, we just everything had been against us at every point, and by this point I was just done. I just wanted to go home. I was over it. So we got back to Bratislava. We weren't sure what to do. We didn't really know what to do.
Yeah, there was lots of options.
When our friend Phil got back, the four of us sat down and talked about options, what we could do. We decided that what we would like to do was at least still get to come up to the high Tatras Mountains, and so that would involve hiring a car, booking accommodation. This was Tuesday, and the next flights home weren't until Sunday from Bratislava anyway. So we thought, well, we might as well enjoy our last few days of the trip. We stayed one more night in Bratislava with Phil's parents. It was very good of them. So the Wednesday morning we went to hire a car from near the airport, Avis car rental, and
Got a Peugeot 3008. So a nice little SUV.
And we made the 3.5-hour drive up to the High Tatras, where Phil booked us a very nice accommodation.
We're in currently.
We're in a little town called Smokovec. It's right by the Tatras Mountains. The apartments are looking out. We can open our curtains in the morning and see the mountains. The apartment is absolutely beautiful. It's finished to a very high standard. Cozy. Could imagine being here in the winter and having nice warm blankets. They give us slippers. The kitchen is completely equipped with everything you could want.
Microwave, oven, hob, coffee machine, toaster, loads of lovely utensils. So, yeah, looking great.
Yeah. So we had 4 nights to spend here. Well, the first day we were both very exhausted, so we didn't do a lot. We did a little bit of shopping.
We wanted to scope out the area.
scoped out the area. Yeah. We're not too far from the cable car at Lomnica, which you can take up the mountain. Either you can take it halfway up or you can go all the way to the top.
It could be amazing.
Yeah. But we wanted to do the hike to the Green Lake, so that involves taking the cable car halfway up the mountain.
It's a wobbly one.
You've got the better view. Because we're facing up the way, I'm facing down the way. Although, it might be good to be facing down the way.
Yeah.
Because I'll see what's behind us. Oh, it's wobbly.
Let you go fast.
Whoa, my goodness! 58 euros for this, eh? Better be awesome. Yeah, the view's a bit obscured by all the scratches on the glass, but yeah.
So what scratches are from?
People trying to get out. Clawing.
Or something trying to get in.
No! Nice little reservoir.
We've got blowers on the side. I presume this is part of a ski slope
Mm.
in the winter.
There's a first station here, and then a second one up there. If you want, you can go all the way to the peak, right at the peak. But it costs like 100 euros, and you have to book in advance. And you wouldn't know if the weather was going to be perfectly clear like it is today.
Well,
So-
we asked about today, and they said the next departure is 4 p.m.
Yes.
So you wouldn't be able to get up there till 4 p.m.
Yeah, because it's fully booked. It's the I think it's the highest point in the whole of the mountains, or one of the highest
And
anyway.
cool that they built something up.
Whoa!
So that
This way to Scalante place. Like you could probably fit like 8 people in here. Look at someone else coming. Okay. When you get off the second cable car, you see a restaurant. There are also toilets in there. Beyond that, you can see a lake and an observatory on a hill. The trail starts on the other side of this lake, Scalnati Pleso. There is a section of planks heading up the hill toward the observatory. Beyond the observatory, there's a steep ascent for about 10 minutes, but don't worry, it flattens out after that. Here it comes. How you doing? Oh, baby. You didn't bring your shorts. Phil's changed already. Stripped off his t-shirt into a tank top.
only I brought shorts.
Yeah, weather has been bizarre. Yesterday it was quite cold. Today it's boiling. Onwards and upwards. The views at this point are amazing. We're about to cross a large field of boulders. You get these marks on the rock, the 2 white lines and the red line in the middle, to let you know you're still on the right track.
Well, it seems like a proper path now.
Yeah, over the boulder field. It's just a nice clear path ahead, so it's okay. Once you've passed the boulder field, you climb a bit more and start to see the peak of Velika Svištovka in the distance, the highest point on this trek, at just under 2,000 meters. Time for an energy break. Got a protein bar. Bill's got an almond and chocolate cereal bar. Yeah. Before we do the last big push to the top. The final 15-minute ascent to the peak is again quite strenuous.
Sounds turn for the bag.
But the whole ascent from the cable car to the peak took us about 1 hour 15 minutes.
go.
Woo! Once you reach the peak, you have a view of the valley beyond, and you can see Zeleni Pleso, the green lake, and the restaurant beside it, our lunch goal, surrounded by the highest peaks in the Tatras range. Time for the wicked descent. Just for scale, to show how big that rock is. Oh, he's climbing it. Why are you climbing it? Philip! Philip, why are you doing this? Oh my gosh, he's upsetting me. Oh my goodness gracious me. You're crazy. Can't believe you're doing that with that big bag. You could have not taken the bag. Was that fun, baby? Yeah. And then you go back down the other side into this valley, which is only accessible by walking. You don't have to cross the mountain. There's another path that you could take, but the mountain route is much more scenic and much more exciting as a route.
A lot harder.
And on the descent to the lake, there's a part where there's a gorge that you have to actually clamber down with chains. Not too bad.
Easier with a chain than without, but
Yeah, not bad, but we've still got this to go. Doing alright? Not even using the chain, hardly. Oh, that was the toughest part. It's the longest section of chain. And when you're coming backwards, you can't really see, you can see what's behind you, but you don't want to. When you look down between your legs, you can just see the steep fall behind you. I do not recommend it for those with a fear of heights. I don't have a fear of heights as such, I have a fear of falling. This is the hardest part, I think. We've still got a fair bit. And then those folk down there seem to be walking again, so that's fine. Good. Now,
it's a bit to come out and rock there.
aye, just slide down on your bum.
Hurt my ankle as well now.
Oh no.
Or knee, or foot, sorry, ankle.
Boo.
And all the way from up there down to here. And we've not got far to go. Just over there. Can't see it, but at the bottom of those mountains.
Coming around the corner. There it is. Beautiful. Definitely worth it when you get to the cabin at the end and you can have a nice lunch there. At the end of a long hike, we have come to this chalet and ordered lunch. So yeah, this hike really has everything. So you start with a cable car, you've got a summit, and then on the way down there's gorge walking, and then you reach this beautiful lake. And of course, the best part is you can eat at the end. So build up an appetite. And we have half a pint each of Kofola, Slovak version of Coca-Cola.
Basically dandelion and burdock, as far as my taste buds can tell.
And we had an absolutely glorious day. The weather was just perfect for hiking.
A little bit hot, but good in the shade.
The hike back, we did the route down through the forest. It's a long, slow descent following the river, mostly wooded. So a little bit boring, not as exciting as the route over the mountain. And that took us about 2.5 hours. Tired? Nearly there. That was very jammy timing. We literally got to the road and the bus stop and saw the bus coming. And it only comes every half an hour. So we were very, very jammy.
Because I walk so slow with such sore feet.
Yeah.
Sore knee.
Okay, you can stop moaning. Just walk back to the car now.
Best €3 I've ever spent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, our legs were killing us by now. We found a place in a nearby town called Vrubov, a thermal spa, which is open right through into the evening. And we went there to relax our muscles after the long 6-hour hike. Yeah, and then today we went to Spish Castle, which is a ruined castle up on a hill. It's a UNESCO site. So we went there in the morning. Part of the castle is closed at the moment, so they've reduced the price of the entry tickets from €16 to €10 per person.
Which is good of them. Not everybody does that.
Yeah, and we got there fairly early, about, was it 9:30, 10 a.m? So it was quite quiet when we first arrived. We spent about an hour and a half walking around looking at the castle. It was getting quite busy by the time we left.
Spish Castle was built at the turn of the 12th century. The first written mention of the castle dates back to 1249. By the end of the 13th century, it had almost completely acquired its current shape. In 1464, the castle was gained by the Count of Spish, and he and his brother transformed the fortress into a Gothic aristocratic residence. In 1531, the castle came under the rule of the Thurzo family, during which time it was rebuilt into a grand and lordly Renaissance residence. In 1636, the Chaki family gained control of the castle and tried to adapt it to their contemporary needs, but over time they moved away to settle in their country mansions, and the castle deteriorated rapidly. In 1780, it was burnt down. The Chaki family continued to own the castle until 1949. In 1993, the castle was registered in UNESCO's World Cultural Heritage List.
We drove into the little town there, I think it's called Spish, the town, just to get a coffee and an ice cream. And then
It was a really nice cafe, wasn't it? It was very simple, just looking for a little place.
yeah.
One of the best raspberry sorbets I've ever had.
And you said the espresso was delicious.
And the espresso, it just had hints of like yeastiness and chocolate, so it was like a chocolate cake.
And only €4 for an espresso and a scoop of ice cream in a cone and his raspberry sorbet. Yeah. And then we decided to drive to Slovak Paradise National Park. Yeah, we had a bit of a drive through the national park, which Phil enjoyed.
We got a bit lost. We were looking for a certain parking area, but we just kept going because it was such a nice drive. And I like driving fast.
We got pretty much all the way through to the bottom of the park, turned around, came back. There was a lovely viewpoint. We're looking over an open sort of green
It was a grassland they have in the middle of it.
glade area.
Like really nice. It was almost like a meadow going through the forest and then going up the mountain the other side.
Yeah, and then we decided to do another hike, although maybe it wasn't the best idea because we were both very tired after yesterday's hike.
Legs were killing me.
My hips. Oh.
We would have liked to do one of the more challenging hikes in the national park. There's some that involve via ferrata and ladders and different things, but we ended up doing a fairly straightforward and in some places a bit boring hike, which was a 4-kilometer ascent and then 4 kilometers back on a kind of a circular route.
But it was as boring as it may have been in comparison to what we did yesterday. It was probably good for our muscles to do a nice lighter walk rather than just go, oh, I'm tired and sit still all day.
Yeah. So all that's left to do now is to pack up and get ready for our drive back to Bratislava tomorrow and our flight back to Edinburgh. So an unexpected flight. Thankfully we got it pretty cheap. actually a lot of our stuff is still in the camper, like our tent, our sleeping bags, our beds, mattresses, our camping table. There's a lot of stuff that we just had to abandon.
But
in
some
the
way or
camper.
another, it should all get back to Scotland.
Yeah, our friends still don't actually know what's happening with the camper. It's still in a garage in Bratislava, so yeah, we really hope it'll get sorted for them soon, and that they'll be able to get it home. But yeah, that is the end of our European road trip adventure.